Culture and Tourism Authority Board of Directors meeting. It's Monday, March 13th. It's at 4 o'clock, and we're in the Carson City Community Center at the Bob Kroll Boardroom. Can I get a roll call, please, Linda?
Mike Jones,
Here.
Bobby Rader, Stacy Giomi.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I can please ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let the minutes reflect that Board Member Reynolds has joined.
Yes.
At this time, I'll ask for public comment. Do we have any? Is there a requirement for a public comment besides your one meeting? No? Oh, good. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. Approval of minutes of the February 23rd, 2023 CTA board member meeting. Any board member like any corrections or additions to the minutes of last month's meeting? Hearing none, if I could get a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for the last board meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Second.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll move on now to the consent agenda. Would any member of the public like any individual item pulled from the consent agenda for individual discussion? Seeing none, would any member of the board like any individual item pulled for discussion? If not, I get a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda as is.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Hearing none, motion passes. That takes us on to number 9, monthly non-agenda action items, presentation and discussion only, presented by Mr. David Peterson.
Thank you, Chair Jones. For the record, David Peterson, Executive Director with the Culture and Tourism Authority. I only have one thing to let the board know about, and that is we're working on the fiscal 24 single cycle grant application through Travel Nevada with the Commission on Tourism. So we're working on, I think, a pretty good request for this upcoming season. One time, basically, it's been moved to instead of 2 cycles. So we need to do our best to get the whole fiscal year squared away as far as what we think we want to request from them. So that's what we'll be working on between now and the end of April. So that's my one update for this month. Any questions on that? All right, we'll go ahead and move on to 9B, transient occupancy tax actual versus forecast. So it's the big piece of paper in your packet. January was a pretty good month, still in blue. We had a couple of properties, a few I guess, that had not returned their forms when we put this out last week, but we look to be about 26% over the budget and just about 27% against last year's January. The only adjustment that I did make, just given kind of what's happened here with the past couple months, I did bump up February through June with a 5% projection as far as being over last fiscal year for those same months, February through June. So takes us to just under 28.5 million for our forecast, which is about 8% above the budget and just under 7% ahead of last fiscal year's actual. And that's, I'm going all the way over to the right-hand column there. So any questions on the room tax forecast? Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and move on to 9C, events and sales update. Unfortunately, Stu is not with us today, so I'm going to do a brief update on his behalf, if you'll all bear with me. ABA motor coach, he did take 27 appointments. He's working with a few operators to bring tours to Carson City in 2024. Yosemite and Lake Tahoe are 2 major areas of interest. with overnight stays in Carson City. So I think that's a great thing. I like the incorporation of the overnight component to this in Carson City, and then they can go back and forth to Tahoe. They're also very interested in the museum tours here in Carson City, and then the Virginia Truckee with the trains and the rail bikes. Those were also major interests to these folks from the ABA Motor Coach Show. Go West, he had 47 appointments, which was huge. Only 2 cancellations, 1 no-show, so the net was 44 appointments, which is great for that show. He's in contact with a couple of operators. They're looking at Carson City for tours for FI here and into 2024, basically. And then he did meet with some operators that were at IPW, so Powwow last year, and they've got some interest in Carson City as well. So I think the one thing I will say is Stu is, they're putting Stu together, name recognition, face recognition, that he's representing us as the capital, as Carson City. And so this is great to see that from show to show. So I think Stu mentioned last month, and you have to forgive me if that wasn't the case, but we're working on bringing a new event here, a Bronco Super Celebration for people that own old Ford Broncos. We're looking at bringing them here October 3rd through the 7th in Mills Park for 4 days. Right now, the estimate is around 400 Broncos and potentially 1,000 attendees in total. So this is really shaping up to be quite a show or exhibition, I guess. Again, these are classic Ford Broncos, and then we're looking to do some adventure rides as well in and around the Carson City area for those that want to take them off-road and get the tires dirty. So looking forward to that in October. And then something else that came about from the National Tour Association, if you recall, in November last year, which was in Reno, is something called SETNESS, so SETNESS, SETNESS Tours. 2 days, and right now it's tentatively scheduled for October 25th and 26th. 30 people, bringing them here in Carson City, museums, and then potentially doing the train from here to Virginia City and back. So another cool event that came about from one of the shows last year. And then the last thing, Stetness Pater, our first of the next 5-year agreement that the board previously approved, May 20th through the 23rd, Fuji Park. They already have 300 people signed up for this. We're looking at 500 to 600 riders, which I think is just fantastic. And then Stu, appointments just opened. He's been a very busy person. Appointments just opened for IPW, which is in San Antonio. So again, that's International Powwow, May 20 through the 25th, San Antonio, Texas. And he's looking to pull a full booklet of 50 appointments for Powwow. So again, he is really kicking butt out there on the show side of things. So any questions on the events and sales update? Yes, please, Steve.
Any opinion on the effect that the change in the air races might have on Carson City? And that may be a little premature to ask. I just was curious.
It's a good question. Specifically, Member Reynolds, as overflow, as an overflow location for, yeah, I think there definitely will be some impact for that particular weekend after this year. So it may be something that we can take a look and maybe we can bring an event, not an air races event, but some kind of an event here for that particular weekend in September in Carson City to help kind of fill the void. But I do know that we're overflow for the air races just because of the number of people that come to Stead, from outside the area. So yeah, I think it's fair to say there'll be an impact on our hotels for sure for that weekend. But I'm hoping perhaps we can bring a different type of event to Carson City. So, well, maybe, yeah, maybe we look at, exactly, maybe we can look at switching that up moving forward. So, yeah, with the Broncos Super Celebration, we may get them for more than just 1 year, which is really kind of one of the keys, I think, as we're looking at events. How do we bring them back year after year, or every other year, or whatever the case may be, not just a one and done. So, but yeah, it's a great idea. Good question. Thank you. Yes, Bobby, yes.
I wondered if this is the right place to let people know about the Nevada Tribal Tourism Conference?
So, yeah, so I did last month mention that, and thank you, Bobby. So we have the Nevada Tribal Tourism Conference coming out to Stewart, and that is going to be on the 21st and the 22nd of March. So, yes, good, thank you for reminding me. I'm excited about that, and it sounds like it's possible that we may get that to come back each year as well, and to have it kind of be based out of the Stewart Indian School campus, so, which would be wonderful. So please, yeah, if you guys want to get out there and take in the Tribal Tourism Conference in just a little over a week and a half, I guess, right? So, yeah, great. I think they're up to 35 registered, I want to say. I think Larry told me. But that doesn't include, like, we've got staff that are going, right, and some of the sponsors. So hopefully they'll get up there between 70 and 100 people for that. So I do know there are some elders who are coming, some the tribal leadership from throughout the state are coming as well. So that's, again, put on by IANTA, and then we're the destination sponsor for that. But Travel Nevada has kicked in a pretty good amount of money as well, not just to sponsor, but also to award scholarships for 10 people throughout Nevada to attend the conference as well. So, and if you want to add anything, Bobby, please, yeah. Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for that. So we'll go ahead and move on to 9D, Arts and Culture Update. Deborah Soul, take it away.
Thank you. Maybe. Which button? This one? Okay. All right. I wanted to give you an update on arts and culture activities for the past month. First of all, the Mark Twain mural. It is progressing. The artist purchased the preferred Dibond panels, which we were hoping would happen, and has prepared the surfaces and commenced actually painting the mural. And it turns out that she likes working on this aluminum panel surface so much that she's planning on doing more of this on future murals that she has the option of choosing materials for. So for the Mark Twain mural, 2 of the 4 panels are completed. You can see up there, I think that was the image of the second panel being sketched in, filled in, and completed, or nearly completed in that third shot. And she's moving on to the third panel now. So we've been meeting regularly via Teams. She's out of town, obviously. But that has made it possible for me to keep in good communication with her and to follow her progress. So the plan is that the murals will be completed before the end of April and then delivered here before the 1st of April. So the museum has also organized for the installation of the panels to take place during the 1st April and first coordinate with the artist to be here at the same time. Before I talk about the Mark Twain Days Festival, I did just want to touch for a moment on the mural festival, the Mural and Music Festival, which was in my intro. I don't have a slide for it because there's really no images I can show you yet, but I just wanted to say that the festival date has been set for September the 28th to the 30th. It will culminate in the mural building process will culminate in this 3-day festival featuring local, national, and international muralists, along with some nightly concerts. And there are intended to be at least 19 exterior walls in the downtown and surrounding neighborhoods throughout Carson City that will have murals created on them. This event is a collaboration between the Brewery Arts Center, Carson City, the Sierra Arts Foundation, and the 3 are contributing towards that, and funding is also being supplemented by donations from businesses and various individuals. And Eric Brooks, who's the organizer of this mural festival, will collaborate and link up artists with local business owners and private residents to locate and decide where the murals are going to go and what the content should be for each location. And the focus will be centered, as I said, on the downtown center area, but it will also include other locations in other parts of Carson City. So the Mark Twain Days Festival. The festival is now less than 6 weeks away. Busy times. The festival program is nearing ready for print in the form of an old-fashioned newspaper, and that's going to go to print fairly shortly. The tickets will also go on sale within the next few days for any of the ticketed events for the festival. We're just finalizing the content with eTix and our partners to get those links up on the Mark Twain Days website. The Twain Train excursion has been expanded a little bit. It's now going to include a short stop in Virginia City, where everyone will be invited to attend a 1-hour catered reception at Piper's Opera House, which will be, I think, quite wonderful. The Walk in Sam's Shoes special Ghost Walk event with Mary Bennett has been all pulled together and will be definitely included in the festival lineup. The artist painting rocking chairs, you can see an image there on the screen with 3 of the chairs. So all the chairs have been distributed and some have started to come back, and they're absolutely beautiful. They're going to be displayed in the Artisan Gallery at the Brewery Arts Center for the month of April, and then they're going to be delivered to various locations in the downtown for outdoor display during the festival. The Railroad Museum is going to be running their steam train on the Saturday during the festival and featuring activities for steampunk festival participants. So during the afternoon and the evening, they'll have special rides, photo opportunities, entertainment, and a beverage area. And the Brewery Arts Center is also hosting Mark Twain movie screenings with live music on Friday night. And on Saturday night, again screening, but this time Bonanza episodes about Mark Twain. And they're also going to be running paint and sip evenings where people can come and create paintings about Mark Twain's famous sayings. And apparently all of those are going to be different. So that should be fun and interesting. And we've already entered into the process of organizing our street decorations. And we've had meetings and are organizing our volunteers and their structure and who's going to be where doing what. So it's starting to really take shape. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Deborah? Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, this is the final pull, right? Between now and the weekend. So great work. A lot of work went into this. All right, we'll move on to 9E, Marketing and Public Relations Update. Lydia Beck, take it away.
Thank you very much. Relatively short presentation today. We'll kick off with our PR report for February to start. Our shortest month of the year was jam-packed with a lot of communications activity. We worked to pitch Pride Journeys, which is the LGBTQ travel directory, for their editorial roundup that featured health and wellness retreats. So we were featured on their blog, which receives a pretty decent amount of hits. And that featured the Firm Cryo Spa and Wellness Center and the hot springs as well. We do have a travel writer that is coming next week. Her name is Teresa Bittler. And she is, actually, she's coming this Thursday. I apologize.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I've lost track of my weeks already in March. But I'll be meeting with her on Thursday. She actually received one of our road trip kits, one of our PR boxes. But she's actually coming within the Reno Tahoe territory. So she's coming as a collective group to visit a few destinations, but she specifically requested Carson City after receiving one of our kits. And she writes for some great magazines for Sherman's Travel, Trip Savvy, 10 Best, Shondaland, AAA, and more. So her fam will be a fun one upcoming this week. She'll be here for almost a week. Other headlines were centered around Mark Twain Days with more regional and local reaches. I also did a Colo 8 interview for that in the morning that received a lot of great feedback. So it seems that our morning interviews seem to be doing better than our afternoon ones with Colo. We had more people just reach out to me to say that they had seen it than I think any of our other interviews before. So that was promising, and we hope to do at least one more before the event happens again. And then we continue to do national pitches with KPS3, focusing on additional media fams and stories for the upcoming summer months. We're continuing to do our monthly newsletters, but I wanted to kind of give you some progress of what some of our recent ones have, how they have performed. We also have included. I'm actually handling all of the paid social media for Mark Twain Days, and so we are collecting emails from our lead ads on Facebook, and we've collected over 630 emails for people interested in Mark Twain Days, and so we're doing individual newsletters to that audience, which is why you see that so much lower, because obviously we have 10,000 on Visit Carson City and about 600 on Mark Twain Days. But I wanted to show you some progress because the open rate for Mark Twain Days is over 60%, right over 60%. And we're still hovering around 39% for Visit Carson City, which is actually a little bit higher than normal for the travel industry. So we continue to have a really engaged audience, and we push our blogs. We have tailored our lead ads for Visit Carson City on Facebook to be tied in with our blog. So if we have a spring checklist, we say, sign up for our newsletter to find the best places to see spring blossoms. So we're connecting that together to make sure that we have a really cohesive, integrated approach for our leads that we're generating, because it's one of the few conversions that we actually own. So we'll continue to focus that and continue to improve those ads and our monthly newsletters. I'm trying to go into a bi-monthly as well for Visit Carson City, just so we have more content going out there and reaching our customers, especially as we go into our events with a lot more, our months with a lot more events. Next is Getaway Places TV with the Travel Channel. So we placed an ad buy with the Travel Channel on Getaway Places TV programming, and we were featured on an episode, and we also had additional bonus commercial airings on Lifetime Real Women Network, Bravo, and HLN. So we actually ran a total of 15 times. We had 5 value-added placements that were actually thrown in by the Travel Channel between those 4 networks. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with the times that we ran. We didn't run in the middle of the night, mostly in the evenings, especially on Lifetime Real Women. So I think we really hit our target audience with this ad buy. And we even had our own landing page, and we were featured on the Getaway Places landing page, like right when you hit in there. So if people are interested after they watched the show, we were very easily findable, and our commercial that we obviously just finished in July was what they had seen for all of that. And lastly, wanted to go over our Bandwango passes. So if you remember, a while back, we had created 2 digital passes, the Hungry Hikers and Bikers Pass, which rewarded you for going out and checking in on our trails. It also had discounts to local establishments. And then we have the Triathlon Pass, which you can check in at all 3 locations, the Hot Springs, Sassafras, and Shoe Tree Brewing. And if you do that, then we will give you a free t-shirt for completing the Carson City Triathlon, which anyone can do. So just some fun passes, and the digital passes were a very popular thing. Everyone had participated in jumping on the digital pass train. So I wanted to give you some stats of how those have performed over the last year plus, and where we plan on going with those. So what you see here, these graphs are actually the days and the time of day that people were checking in the most. So obviously the weekends are largely popular there. For the triathlon, these are some more stats from that. It's really drawn kind of all around the area and also from other states. But our top users were split between locals and Reno residents. So we are pulling people down from Reno with this pass. And we have been running Facebook social media ads on Facebook and Instagram that have promoted these passes pretty heavily for the last 4 months. So we're seeing a spike in engagement with those ads. But for the Hungry Hikers and Bikers Pass, it was really used primarily by locals. So it only drove about 20 redemptions inside of the businesses, because not everybody wants to use a coupon, but it is great exposure still for all the people that have signed up. And I do want to reiterate here that I missed, I apologize. Since we launched these passes, we've had 467 people sign up for Hungry Hikers Pass. 126 of those are currently active, and 170 people have signed up for the Carson City Triathlon Pass. 44 people have checked into those businesses, and we've had about 15 to 18 t-shirt redemptions so far. So people are coming in. A lot of people are using the pass, but they don't necessarily want a t-shirt, but still love to having at least some sort of souvenir. So for the hungry hikers and bikers, we think this was a great way to bring activity to our trails, awareness of all of our trails, because we have pictures and check-ins for every single one. So Zach actually went and photographed and got drone shots of all of those. So that was also just helpful for our arsenal of photos on top of it. But after evaluating all of this information and letting it run for a while, I feel like we're maybe too small of a destination to continue to do these passes for the price point that we pay for them. It's not a cheap endeavor by any means for the annual pass. And so we're hoping that maybe we can integrate these in a way into our website, especially the triathlon pass, to continue to do those for visitors. So we will likely be sunsetting these at the end of the calendar year. But if there's any input that you have on these passes, you pay the same annual fee for no matter how many passes you have. And getting the engagement that we were hoping with this was just underperforming into what I would like to see. So we hope that we can at least figure out the triathlon pass, which could be pretty easy to do through, at least through the website. But we'll probably be sunsetting this in December. And that is all for this month. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions for Lydia?
No, you answered my question at the end, whether it was, so you were ahead of me.
Yeah, the numbers just don't match up with the price point for us. So we'll look, there's a lot more new products that are coming out too. So I have a couple conferences coming up in the next couple of weeks. And so I'm hoping that we'll find out more, especially at the Tech Summit in Salt Lake at the end of the month, what new things might be out there. And there's new digital pass companies. So I'm hoping that we'll not be a guinea pig, but learn from some of the other DMOs that are participating in these and, maybe try something new. Thank you very much.
And Lydia was great on KOLO. So I don't know how many texts I received and phone calls about her amazing interview. So it's early in the morning. I said Lydia can handle all the morning interviews. That's perfect. It's before I get out of bed. So awesome. Thank you for that update, Lydia. We will move on to 9F, future agenda items. Is there anything that the board would like to see put on to next month's agenda? Okay. Our next meeting, we'll go ahead and move on to 9G, right here in this building, April 10th, Monday, 4 p.m. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Chair Jones. Thank you.
Thank you, David. We'll move on to item 10, board comments or announcements or requests for information. I have one. I'd like to recognize Board Member Reynolds. This will be his last meeting with us. His 2-year commitment is up. I don't mean to make it sound like it was a draft or something, but I certainly appreciate your contributions and the time and commitment that you've put in the last couple of years, Steve, and thank you.
Mike, thank you very much. It was a pleasure serving with everyone on the board and also learning so much about the operation. I must say, from my last period of familiarity about 15 years ago with how this particular service operated, the amount of information you have, the amount of plans that you make and follow through with, it's just night and day. And I must say there's very few of the committees or boards that I've been on or been around here in Carson that have such a good handle on what's going on. So congratulations on that, David and staff. So anyway, once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. That's credit to the team. So thank you on behalf of the whole staff. Appreciate your time these last 2 years. Thank you so much.
And I know the city will, I don't know if there's any applications in currently, but I guess the city will reopen the process to fill the position for other business interests.
I can jump in, Mike. This is Dave Peterson for the record. Yeah, so I think that is the plan, is to do reopen a new application period, because the one that closed 2 Fridays ago, I believe, did not result in any applications by the deadline. So just trying to coordinate that with Rachel and the city manager's office. So that's what I know as of today.
Thank you. Any other announcements, comments, or requests? That moves us to item 11. I'll ask one more time, is there any public comment out there? Anyone who would like to address the board? Oh, well, you're right. Yeah, push it when it turns green. Start to.
My name's Grace Thompson. I'm a Carson City resident, and I'm here for Social Work 725 class. And that's really it. Very interesting. I wrote down everything. I will be checking out the Mark Twain thing. That looks cool. So, and I'm friends with Mary Bennett, so I'm going to tell her, hey, you were mentioned. That's all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. With that, that takes us to our last agenda item, and that's to adjourn. So if I can get a motion,
Make a motion to adjourn.
we're adjourned.